Hello and welcome. I'm Jamie and you are listening to the Everyday Queen podcast, the place where we celebrate everyday queens conquering their inner BS and doing epic things in life, love and business. This podcast is for the mamas navigating mum life, the boss babes killing it in their careers, the biz babes forging their own paths, and all of you queens in between. I'm here to share with you the real, the raw, and the BS-free tips and tricks on turning your inner mean into an inner queen so that you can show up every day fierce, powerful, and unstoppable. Let's get to it. Hello everyone, and welcome again to another episode of the Everyday Queen podcast. Today I'm chatting and potentially ranting about one of my favorite topics, all things self-care. If you've been following my Instagram stories for the last 10 days, you will know that I'm currently doing a 6-week challenge. And shameless plug, if you're not following me on Instagram, you totally should. Look me up on the Instagram app. It's Jamie Lee White. Anyway, so I'm doing a 6-week challenge as part of a mastermind group that I'm in. And basically we each set 2 goals that we need to complete on a weekly basis. The aim behind it is really to set up those really good habits. Number 1 for the holiday season, because we all know Christmas is upon us and things get super hectic at this time of year. But most importantly, this is to set us up to have an epic 2021, which is just around the corner. Thank God. Now, as a new mum of my darling 13-week-old Harrison, I decided that I really needed one of my goals to be to have 30 minutes of self-care every day. There were 2 main reasons behind why I chose this as one of my goals. Number 1, I freaking love my baby, but oh my God, some days are tough. Some days I just miss having my bubble completely to myself. Don't get me wrong, I am not complaining at all, but that is just how I feel some days. I'm just keeping it real. And the other thing is that I know that for me to be the best mum to him, which that's what we all want to do as mums, I need to be taking care of myself. I need to be the best me that I can be. My other reason for choosing this as one of my goals is that I hear so often the excuse, I don't have enough time. And I used to be that person. There are too many women out there, and probably also men, but I'm really not the expert in that area, who are running around burning themselves into the ground or burning the candle at both ends, as the saying goes. They're all running around saying they wish they had time for this and they wish they had time for that, but no one's actually owning it and making the time. I'm not having a go here because, like I said, that was me so many times. So my second reason is really to prove, not only to myself, but to everyone else, that you can always find 30 minutes somewhere in your day to take care of you, no matter how busy you are. End of rant. But I should just let you know, I actually have been fitting in my 30 minutes every day. I worked out that it doesn't have to be 30 minutes all in one lot. Some days I'll do 10 minutes 3 times a day. Some days I split it into 2 15-minute lots. Other days I get to do 30 minutes or even more. It really is easy once you just prepped and planned for it. There was one day where I only fit in 10 minutes and I totally forgot about the other 20 minutes, so I made up for it the next day. Anyway, I feel like self-care is one of those flavor of the month topics on social media. Everyone's talking about it. And yeah, it is more important than ever, especially with everything that this year has thrown at us. When I first really dived into personal development, I adored self-care Sundays, or actually self-care any day. I just thought it was absolutely divine being able to refill my cup after running on empty for so long. I'd book nail appointments, go for coffees, have shopping trips. I literally booked a me day at least once a week. Has anyone else done this? You decide it's time to refill your cup, but you actually end up just emptying your bank account. A quick scroll of the hashtag Self-Care Sunday, which, can I just add, I've done, and there are 1.2 million posts. I'm not kidding you. But a quick scroll of this hashtag will show you face masks and skincare products and bubble baths, spa days, and beautiful, I'm assuming, scented candles. Of course, these are also mixed in with the various designs and captions of the quote, "Self-care isn't selfish, it's necessary." And I'm pretty sure if you search for long enough, you will find that I have posted this at some stage myself. I'm not begrudging the idea of having gram ready hashtag no filter needed hair, skin and nails all year round. I'm so on board with that. But can we just get real for a moment? Self-care is so much more than drinking wine in a hot bath. We have in our minds that self-care has to be this bougie, glamorous routine, and it's no wonder that we feel like we have no time for it. You can't see me at the moment, but I'm doing inverted commas with my fingers around the no time, because the no time excuse is old and needs to be wiped from our books. I actually think I'm going to have to dedicate an entire episode to that excuse. But anyway, we all feel like we have no time to look after ourselves because we're actually missing the very basics of self-care. And the truth is, after my little rant about using time as your excuse, you probably don't have time every day to sit in a bubble bath with a face mask and sip a Pinot. I certainly don't. Although by that same token, I totally could make time for that. But anyway, if I go down that rabbit hole, we'll be here for hours, and that is definitely a topic for another day. So I'm sure you're sitting there thinking, okay, Jamie, you've rambled now about how self-care is more than Insta-worthy face masks. So what actually is self-care? By definition, according to Google, self-care is literally any activity that we do deliberately in order to take care of or prioritize our mental, emotional, and physical health. So think of it as any activity that enhances your energy, restores your health, or reduces your stress. Now, I want to clarify that at no stage have I said that these beautiful routines are not self-care. They totally are. But my message is purely that there is so much more that we all could and should be doing to take care of ourselves. In fact, there's actually there are 6 different types of self-care. There's physical, emotional, spiritual, intellectual, social, and sensory. So ideally, your self-care routine actually needs to tick off each of these boxes. No, not necessarily every single day, because that would be a lot, but I would aim to have each box ticked off at least once a week. So what's the big deal? We've all heard the saying, refill your cup. You can't pour from an empty cup. You know how it goes. And from my point of view, neglecting to take care of ourselves is actually one of the most common ways that we self-sabotage. Think about it. When you aren't taking care of yourself or making time for yourself, how do you feel? Pretty crap, right? You're probably tired, stressed, starting to feel burnt out, just over it. Do you think that that's how people feel when they're working towards their goals? Do you think that that's how people actually reach their goals and reach the success that they're chasing? No freaking way. To reach the success that you're after, be that in your career or your business, in love, or maybe just in your life in general, your body and mind need to be operating in peak condition. So if you're running around tired and stressed and burnt out all the time, you're hardly going to perform as best as you possibly can at anything that you set out to do. So how do we fix that? How do we fix that when we're all just so busy? It's actually really simple. I can pretty much guarantee that most of you are already performing self-care tasks without even realizing it. In fact, you actually are, because just by listening to this podcast, you're already ticking off your intellectual self-care needs. And for those of you that are listening to this podcast whilst walking, you've just ticked off 2 boxes, so go you. But podcast aside, the very basics of self-care actually just starts with sleeping well, eating well, and drinking water. Yep, that is totally it. It really is that simple. I think one of the biggest mistakes that we make is feeling like self-care has to be this entire routine. If you can fit a whole routine into your day, then that's amazing, and keep doing that. But for those of you that are just starting out and feeling a bit overwhelmed by the whole idea, just focus on adding 1 task every day. 1 task, that's it, like baby steps. Always remember that we first must learn to walk before we can run. So I thought that I would finish this podcast by actually just giving you 5 completely ordinary but often not thought of ways that you can practice self-care every day in little to no time. So firstly, take time to plan and prioritize your day. Whether it's the night before or the morning of, planning a preparation of your day actually ensures that you start every day in a proactive rather than reactive mind frame. It helps you stay focused and on task, and in general, it's going to help you reduce stress. My second thing is set boundaries with your smartphone. Have a time that you put it aside every night before you go to bed, and a time that you don't touch it until each morning. We do not need to be inundated 24/7 with other people's lives and business. It literally causes us to judge ourselves and others, often without even realizing. And the constant comparison probably affects you more than you even realize. My third task is to allow yourself guilt-free, unproductive time. Yes, I'm saying sit on that couch, put your feet up, and watch Netflix. Nowadays, we honestly just feel like we have to be productive all the time, and we feel guilty for having downtime. Number 4, declutter or tidy up. Your emails, your socials, your car, your wardrobe, your handbag. You get the point. Okay, no, this doesn't sound like self-care, and it's certainly not fun. But a cluttered life leads to a cluttered mind. And a cluttered mind can't take you where you want to go. And lastly, ask for help when you need it. Another topic I'm going to dive deeper into in another episode. But in a nutshell, it is so important to realize when your plate is too full, and realize that asking for help is not a sign of weakness, but in fact a sign of incredible strength. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you love this episode, be sure to let me know by leaving a review or sharing and tagging me in your stories. If you aren't already following me on social media, come and get your daily dose of BS-free inspiration at Jamie Lee White. While you're there, click the link in my bio to download my free workbook, 3 Steps to Overcoming Your Inner BS. That's it from me today. I can't wait to chat to you in the next episode.